Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Usually we talk about thyroid, hypothyroid, Hashimoto's, but today we're going to deep dive into some more general health topics, but that are very important, and there is really no person that is better to talk about these things than Amanda.
Hey Elin, or hi Elin, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so excited to
English.
join you today. English, yes, let's stick to English today. It's so nice to
Yeah.
join you on the show.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
Mhm.
What do you do? Where are you from?
Yeah, I am in Stockholm and I am Swedish, but I actually grew up in China. So I've lived almost 9 years in Shanghai and Beijing with
Wow.
my family. Yeah, so growing up, and I find that important to bring up because I think with traditional Chinese medicine and seeing that part of the medical
Oh
system as
yeah.
well from an early age um, made me more interested in the stuff I'm interested in today. But my journey really starts, I think, when we moved back to Sweden and I was about 15, 16 years old, and I got really sick and was diagnosed with IBS, which I think about 11% of the Swedish population are diagnosed with today.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I had an experience that many people can relate to. I visited so many doctors and was basically gaslighted into, there's nothing wrong with you. All the tests look good.
Mm.
You know, you're going to have to live with this. And thankfully, my mom said, no, you're not going to have to live with this. And we were able to find a functional medicine practitioner. Uh, that really changed my life at that age. And
Amazing.
yes. So I think that was my introduction to the alternative space or whatever you want to say. But I think that was my wake up call to the medical system and the
Mm.
issues that you'll find there. I think that the medical system is amazing when it comes to, if you're in an accident or you need
Mm.
you need emergency care. But
Yeah,
for so-called chronic illnesses, not so much.
exactly. It's more
Yeah.
for the acute things that can happen. You break a bone or something, then it's very,
Ex-
very nice. But when it comes to more chronic things, they don't have solutions for you. It's basically meds or nothing.
Exactly. And I think neither of us want to go to an alternative or kind of natural practitioner when we break our leg. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm thankful the hospitals are there. I don't know. I think they're very trained to treat, like we spoke about just before this call, but a pill
Mm.
for every ill.
Yeah.
And I hope we're going to see change there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's how it started, and then I got much better. But went to Barcelona for work when I was about 23
Mm-hmm.
and started drinking more again and
Mm.
eating more like everyone else.
Yeah.
And I got sick again and I got kind of acne and
Mm.
skin issues that I had never had before. And it's given me so much more sympathy for people struggling with skin issues overall. It really destroys your self-confidence.
Mm.
It can, be really tough, as I think a lot of us, anyone who's experienced it can understand that.
Yeah.
And got better there as well when I got back to Sweden and kind of went back to eating the way I used to. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, then also got diagnosed with interstitial cystitis, which is like a chronic bladder pain.
Mm.
And I could barely leave my apartment for 5, 6 months because the
Ooh.
pain was so bad. And I was going to pee, I think 50, 60 times a day.
Mm.
And yeah, the doctor's solution for that was antidepressants and cortisone into my urethra. And I said, no way, I am not depressed. Something is off.
Mm.
And I have been able to reverse that with about, I would say I'm 90% better today.
Awesome. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
So interesting that you grew up in China. I know a lot about TCM, I think it's called,
Mm,
traditional Chinese medicine. And
yeah,
I think, I don't know if it's that practice, but I think they get paid for every patient that gets well after visiting them.
I
They
don't know if
get
that's
paid
the case
extra.
today, but I think that would be That sounds like a more sustainable model. Let's look that up. I would love to see if
Yeah.
that's still how they're working today.
Yeah, I know some,
Yeah.
maybe it was to Japan, but it's some
Mm,
of the more traditional ways of healing when you look at it more holistically, not pill for
yeah.
every ill, more like lifestyle and environment and eating the right stuff and things like that. But
Mm,
I'm so happy that you got well from all of these symptoms and issues that you had.
yeah.
So is that what really inspired you to become a certified, um, what do you call it?
Functional medicine. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so many words.
health
Functional
coach.
medicine, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I had worked with functional medicine practitioners who really helped me get my life back on track.
Uh-huh.
And I was really desperately looking for a proper nutritional training and was
Yeah.
unable to find one. There are no programs in Sweden when I looked at the literature they were using
Uh,
that I wanted to study. It's a
yeah.
completely different kind of, yeah, we can talk about that later.
Yeah, way to
Um,
view health and
Yes,
what we need.
exactly. So my two options were really either I go to China and I study in Shanghai and I study traditional Chinese medicine, or
Mm,
the US.
yeah.
And I had already done my degree in business in Stockholm, and I wasn't really keen, or probably didn't have the finances either, to go to the US to study nutrition. So I
Yeah.
thought, let's start with a training within functional medicine from a health coach perspective. And I did that from the US.
Mm,
So yeah, I think it was just, I wanted to see what was out there. And, now with my Instagram, I mean, I recently started, I'm just hoping to be able to reach the broader mass and help them realize that you can make so many changes in your life with really simple means, and it doesn't have to cost that much.
yeah, exactly. It might even cost you less, actually,
Yes.
than buying everything that's thrown at you and meds and
Yes.
everything like that. And obviously, you will have a better quality of life once you start to incorporate these things. So you will really win in long term when it comes to financial means, health, anything really.
Yes, exactly.
So if you would describe your mission in one sentence, what would it be?
Oh, good question. You should have let me prepare for that one.
Yeah.
My mission, I think having a higher purpose is really important, and it will change along the way. But currently, my mission is to wake more and more people up
Mm-hmm.
to the system,
Yeah.
and to make them realize that you can be your own doctor.
Ooh, I love that.
Mm. Yeah, you can take control of your own health. And it
Mm-hmm.
probably requires some research, and it requires you making some changes in your life. But if you make small changes, tiny habits build, big change.
Exactly.
Mm,
And it says in your profile like health is wealth.
yeah, it
And
is, right?
yeah, I truly believe that because I also was sick with Hashimoto's. And I don't have any symptoms today, but I was also told by my doctor,
Yeah,
maybe you're depressed, maybe you need
yeah,
antidepressants, maybe you should go see a psychologist. And I knew I was not depressed. I
yeah,
knew it was not in my head, but there was nothing they could do for me. They also said the tests were all normal and everything. But for
yeah,
me, just being sick, I really realized how important it is to be healthy, to have a good functioning life.
mm,
And there is
definitely.
no riches in the world that can buy you health.
No,
It,
especially when you're
yeah.
sick, right? I mean, and I think what you're talking about shows a lot that you listen to your intuition,
Mm,
and that just because a doctor gives you a diagnosis or tells you something's wrong with you, don't take that at face value. You
mm,
are not, just because a doctor says you have this doesn't mean you're going to be stuck living like this.
mm-mm.
I know they
And,
put on the white coat and that sometimes you feel intimidated and it can be difficult, but it's just a white coat, and you know
yeah.
yourself better than anyone else.
Yeah. They
Mm.
say doctors are also regular dudes. Like
Yes, I
they're
think that's
just like
good. And
you
we need
and
to
me.
remind people. Yes.
Yes,
They are.
they are experts in the body in many things, but
Yeah.
the way they view it, their philosophy with viewing every single organ as a separate piece, that
Yes.
is not how the body works. It works like an ecosystem. If you look at nature, if you take away one species, or if you take away something very important in the ecosystem, the whole
Mm.
thing will fall.
Yes.
And it's the same with
Exactly.
our bodies. It has to be in balance. It has to work together, every single part.
Mm.
Uh, so if something is wrong in the brain, you cannot just look at the brain and try to find, you have to see, is there any imbalances in other places? Because
Exactly.
there's like a connection to the gut when it comes to the brain.
Mm.
So maybe there's an imbalance there that affects the brain or vice versa. So
Mm. No, definitely. And I think I think that's even coming out more and more in mainstream media about the gut-brain connection and the link to
mm,
depression.
mm,
So I saw an interesting study. I'll have to find it later, but something about,
yeah,
if you can look at the people who are diagnosed with depression, how many of them actually have IBS or some kind of stomach problem.
mm,
So what if we would actually start looking more at the root cause
yeah,
rather than keep giving these pills to just lessen the symptoms?
mm,
Mm.
exactly. And
Yes.
that's like the root of it all, because if you want to solve a problem, you have to go to the bottom of it. You have to go to the foundation to truly solve it. It's like, okay,
Yes.
there's a hole in the floor. Okay, I can cover it, but the
Yeah.
hole will not disappear, and someone
It's
can
still gonna
step
be
in it
there.
and fucking fall. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. That's a good example.
yeah,
And I think if we can just get more and more people to realize that,
mm,
then yeah, once again, you can do a lot of stuff by yourself.
yeah. Because
Mm.
especially with autoimmune issues, you have some symptom and you cover it with a pill. It doesn't stop the immune system from being out of whack and
Mm.
destroying your organs. Okay, maybe your headache disappeared, but it didn't
Mm.
stop the immune system. So it can still break you down, because that's what
Exactly.
happens eventually. Like with the thyroid, if
What medication? I'm not too familiar with Hashimoto's, having not had issues with my thyroid myself,
mm.
but what meds do they want to put you on?
So the meds with Hashimoto's, it's not too bad. Basically, they try to replace the hormone that the thyroid is producing. So you
Yeah.
get hormones in a pill.
Okay. Wow.
So
Nice.
it's like it's not too toxic compared to
Mm.
some other medications, because a lot of medications are really freaking toxic, and that's another
Yeah.
thing that
That
is
is a
not
different
being
topic.
discussed.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we
um,
could touch upon there. Yeah.
yeah, because a lot of medication lead to other problems because they're so
Yeah.
toxic. But for the thyroid, it's basically a hormonal replacement. So they just add in that hormone to your body again. But
Mm.
say my mother, for example, for her, it started out with Hashimoto's because we share genes, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that happened for her too. But
Mm.
since she couldn't stop the immune system from keep attacking, now she has 5 autoimmune diseases.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So she must be on a lot of meds
Medications.
then to keep
Yeah.
that in order. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's hopefully she can make some changes, especially with your health, but
Mm.
it's difficult. I mean, the more you get, right?
Yeah, and also the longer this can go on, the longer you keep taking meds, the body will be destroyed in some ways that maybe you aren't able to reverse. Some damage you won't be able to reverse. So for
Yeah.
her, some things has improved a lot through lifestyle and these small habits, as you say. But had she begun earlier, maybe
Yeah.
some things she can't reverse now wouldn't have been the case. They wouldn't have been destroyed. She doesn't even have a thyroid, it's gone. So she can't improve it. And that's why it's so important to do what we do and start early so young women
Yes.
don't have to go through all
No,
of this.
exactly. That they don't have to go through this. So catch people very young and
If you
just
can,
wake
yeah.
people up if you can. Exactly. And I think that's what makes social media so amazing now, that you can reach
Mm-hmm.
out to people, young people, and help them feel like they can take charge of their health early.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a great mission, but it will be fun. We will see a
It's
lot
gonna be
of
fun.
yeah.
It's fun. It's a lot of great comments, a lot of hate as well. But
Yeah.
I think, you know, that shows that, I mean, we know that when it comes to health, when it comes to food, these questions, it can be very triggering. It's very polarized. But it's important to speak your truth.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So shall we dive into this?
Yeah. Let's see what you got.
What do you feel about seed oils? Would it be better if people ate, for example, butter? And if so, why?
Seed oils. Speaking of controversial topics
Exactly.
on
I
the
thought, let's
internet.
get into it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as soon as I think I did a post on, I do my profile is in Swedish, but I did it on Vigott and butter. And I spoke about how it's butter mixed with rapeseed oil. I know in the US they call it more canola oil, but here we call it rapeseed oil. And just a little bit of background then, there is organic, so I'm translating everything in my head now. There's organic
Exactly.
cold press rapeseed oil available in small amounts in Sweden, which I suppose there's nothing necessarily wrong with. But that is not the rapeseed oil they're putting into our butter, the Bregott. And I think Bregott for me was just an example of pretty much every ultra processed product out on the market, because most of them are filled with seed oils. And I mean, in Sweden, we have something called Livsmedelsverket, which I guess is the kind of, what would we call that in English?
I think I looked that up. It was like the Swedish Food Agency.
The Swedish Food Agency, right. The Swedish Food Agency really pushes that you should eat these seed oils, that they are heart healthy. In the US, they put a little heart on the bottles, if you've ever been there. And in Sweden, I don't think we have a heart, but we have something like rich in vitamin E. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it says. The problem with these oils, and I want to make sure, like, I'm not a chemist in any way, but they are RBD oils, which is they are refined, they are bleached, and they are deodorized. Any ultra processed food, the definition would be that you could, a non ultra processed food would be that you could make it in your kitchen. So theoretically, you could make an olive oil in your kitchen, right? You have to have the right tools, but you could. You could also make, I suppose, like a sesame oil, like that they've used in, I mean, in Asia, there is some sesame oil. You could hypothetically do it, but you wouldn't be able to make one of these RBD oils in your kitchen. That would require some proper heavy machinery. And yeah, and then they add color to them so that you see a difference between, what are they, like a sunflower oil and a rapeseed oil.
Yeah.
So and in the beginning, this was industrial engine lubricant.
Yeah. Lubricants for the engines,
For the engines, exactly.
So this was supposed to be used on machinery in the
Yes,
beginning.
and now they're used in our bodies, exactly. And I think that this is, I mean, the history of this as well goes back to the 50s in the US, when they saw like a sudden surge in heart in the US.
Yeah, cardiovascular.
Thank you. Yeah. In the US, and President Eisenhower as well in 55 also faced these issues. And I think the US went into some kind of frenzy, like, we need to figure out what's wrong. And this guy came in, Ansel Keys. I think he was from the University of Minnesota. And he made saturated fat the devil. Based on a study, if you really want to go deep into this, that has since then, I think, been proven false. I think he used statistics and numbers from 7 countries that fit his narrative and picked out the rest.
Yeah, he nitpicked the ones he liked.
Yeah.
And then he threw out all the tests from the other countries because it has had no real what's it called? Correlation. With
exactly.
with the animal fats at all, but he deemed it as the reason to why the president got a heart attack. And I think they weren't directly agreeing with him on showcasing this to the world, but then he was like, but the people are worried, we have to get this out to the public. And then through a lot of discussion, they eventually released it as a fact, when in fact it was not the problem at all.
No, exactly. And I think that's a very good example just of how, propaganda, if I can use that word, and
Mm-hmm.
just, pushing out narratives into the media can really impact the food system more in more ways than
Yeah.
we'd like to admit. And maybe just to kind of summarize on the seed oil piece, the issue with these unsaturated,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah,
Unsaturated.
they oxidate, they go bad. And when you put them through this chemical process, and even more so, they oxidize when you heat them up. So they shouldn't be heated up. And then you heat them up in your pan, and then they oxidize in your body as well. And I'm
Yeah.
sure we could do an episode just on seed oils.
Yeah.
And I
We
think a
should.
really cool, yeah, what's her name? She has a PhD, Nina. I need to figure, yeah, her last name. But she
Mm-hmm.
wrote a book about this that came out about 10 years ago.
Mm.
And I think to this day, she has 26 research papers and she spoke about this recently, that she continuously tries to send into the press to journalists showing that seed oils are terrible for you
Mm.
and that they've got it all wrong, and journalists
Yeah.
won't even touch the subject.
Mm. And why is that?
And why is that? Because of money. That would be at least if you watch my Instagram, I think you'll see that's what I'm insinuating,
Yeah.
right? Because of
Yeah.
money.
Follow the money.
There's,
You will find
follow
weird
the money.
things when you dive into
No,
it.
exactly. You really will. And I mean, if they wanted you to be healthy, would they really be selling you all the stuff they're selling you? I
No.
think it's not just a fun example is with raw milk.
Yeah.
Regardless if you choose to drink it or not, raw milk is illegal in a lot of countries. And I don't know how many people it kills, but I think the latest stats, I think the US, maybe in the last 15 years, it was like 150 people. Don't mark my words, but it's something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas you have alcohol killing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people every
Yeah.
year.
And in Sweden,
And
the state owns the place where they sell the booze and everything like that.
exactly. Exactly. So I
So
think
it's not, oh, yeah, they care about you. Like,
yes. And I think actually if you go in on Livsmedelsverket and look at their sources or the papers they are referring to when they talk about, say, seed oils, and you look at the people in the studies, a lot of them work for, pharma or chemical, like, yeah, for these
oh,
companies.
really?
Yes. And
I'm not surprised. I'm just
no, exactly.
it's
I mean,
just
I
new
don't think any of us,
information. We're
it's
not
new
surprised
information.
about anything anymore.
And nothing surprises us anymore. And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are not willing to realize this. And don't take my word for it. Like, go in and look
Go
yourself.
check. Yeah, go check.
Yes. I'm not like, I get so many comments now in the short time I've been on Instagram, like I'm lying and doing this,
Mm,
like, and go look it up. But you're
yeah,
not willing.
I
The
dare you
funniest
to.
one, I dare you to. The funniest one is the hate comments I've gotten on my post about grounding. And grounding, there are so many studies now showing how good it is to reduce inflammation in your body.
Yeah.
Do it as a one Google search and you'll find the PubMed links.
Yeah.
And people are saying that you're a conspiracy theorist. You are a right-wing conspiracy theorist. And I think this is kind of how polarized Sweden has become, and of course the world.
Yeah, and it's so funny once you say, "Oh, that's a conspiracy theory," people dismiss
Yeah.
it totally.
Yeah.
But okay, I dare you, go check it out,
Yeah.
read about
Exactly.
it, and then come back, tell me it's
Yeah.
bullshit and just
Yeah.
conspiracy theories.
No, exactly. But then, a lot of them have checked the sources on Livsmedelsverket and they feel
Mm,
like, that's the truth. And at the same time, we have to respect people's choices and they have the right
mm-hmm.
to choose this. But
Yeah.
one thing is if you're an adult, one thing that really gets me upset, and I think I'm going to do a post about it. Like just yesterday, I saw that a school in high school in Borlänge have now introduced 50% meat and 50% soy beef, and they mix it all up.
Ooh.
And yes, and I saw it, and the woman or the head chef, she said it's because it barely tastes any different. Livsmedelsverket, the food agency in Sweden, said we should reduce our meat consumption. I mean, they only recommend 350 grams a week crazy. And
That's
it's
so
cheaper.
bad, but
But she also said it's cheaper. And I think when somebody says it's also cheaper, you have it at face value. They're doing this because of financial means. And we're giving this to high school students who their brains are developing. Sorry, stuff like that really gets me going. They don't have a choice. And I think that that's a proper issue. If you're an adult, do whatever you want. But
yeah,
when you do this to children and like the elderly,
they
then
can't
we have a real
choose it.
problem.
They have no
Exactly.
like say in anything, and especially when
Exactly.
it's the only food that they are provided. So,
Yeah.
but it's so messed up because seed oils, they create inflammation in the body,
Mm.
and soy creates hormonal disruption for many
Yeah.
many people because it mimics estrogen. So for men, that could mean they get more feminine. And for women,
Yeah.
they will have too much estrogen eating too much soy.
Yeah.
So it's so
Especially if they're
detrimental.
eating it every day in school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
But it's,
it
and 350 grams a week of meat.
I think
Are you
that's what they're
freaking
recommending now.
serious? That's
Yeah.
like what I eat in a day.
I know. At least, right?
More.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I think
In
that's a
one
funny one.
day.
Like in one day, and whatever they recommend, I made a joke on Instagram. Just do the opposite.
Do the opposite.
Yeah, because
Uh,
they do not have your best health in mind. We have an epidemic of chronically sick people. We have
mhm.
500,000 people with diabetes type 2. We have, what did I say, 10, 11% with IBS, probably a large number that are not diagnosed yet. I mean,
Mm,
there's so many chronic illnesses. We're sicker than we've ever been. We need to
yeah.
do something different.
Yeah, clearly something isn't working.
Exactly.
And this is another thing. It's like you can just look at the society.
Yeah,
Do you
just
think
look.
people, yeah, look around. Do you think people
Mm.
are thriving?
No, I think 52%. Sorry, because I was looking at these stats recently. Like
Yeah.
50 or 52% are overweight in Sweden. And I think we consider ourselves to be quite healthy or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And they
but
say
we're not healthy.
we're one of the happiest countries in the world. I'm like, where?
No, no, exactly.
Where?
Where? Exactly.
We have the most like prescribed antidepressants of any country, I think, and the
Yeah.
suicide rates are incredibly high. So
Yes.
where is the happiness? And just looking
Hmm.
around,
Yeah.
do people look happy?
No,
And
exactly.
is there really any country where we drink as much?
I know. No, a lot of things are backwards here. And I mean, we're touching upon food now, but it's not just food, right?
Mm,
I mean, I live in Stockholm and when
mm,
you go on the train, and I'm not saying I'm any different. It's really easy to become this person. You just sit with your
mm.
phone. So it's not just what you eat, but of course it's also what you consume.
Yeah.
I canceled my Netflix account, which feels great. But just like
Yeah.
trying to
Awesome.
minimize like what you consume
Mm,
and your screen time, and especially with our kids. I mean, they're bombarded with
yeah.
like, commercials about food and stuff, and that may not be legal on Swedish television to a certain extent. Or maybe, but on TikTok and on Instagram, they're bombarded constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's,
So it's a
yeah.
whole,
And when you go into marketing and that whole thing, how they make us addicted to these things through
yeah,
brainwashing us through commercials and everything like that. But that's also like a whole other topic. And
a whole top.
it's
Yeah.
like you go down, you look into one thing, and then all of a sudden you wake up and see like all these things, and you connect the dots, and you
Yeah.
just realize it's so much deeper than you thought.
No,
And
definitely. And
how
yeah,
these industries work to really make you addicted and dependent on drugs,
mm,
on food, really anything they can sell you, and to the
yeah,
cheapest prices. Then they don't care about your health. Like many makeup products contain heavy metals.
yeah. Oh
Almost,
God, the makeup
yeah.
industry is like a discussion in itself, right?
Yeah,
Definitely.
but it's all industries, and that's
Yes.
the big takeaway. And as any industry, as any company, you want to make
Mm.
money, and it's just
And
unfortunate that it has to be at the cost of our health.
yeah, definitely. And this has been my marker since we're consuming so much on social media. But if I go on somebody's profile on Instagram, like health influencer, whatever you want to call people, and they have sponsorships with companies that, you know, make French fries or some
Yeah.
protein powder that has 11 ingredients. For me personally, that's a major red flag, because I want to know that the person I'm consuming information from or taking in information from is not bought. And I think that they
Yeah.
are bought
Yeah.
when they decide to partner with these kinds of companies.
Yes, even me, I
Mm.
have had some people reaching out to me for collaborations and they want to work with me, but I just ask them to send their ingredients to their
Yeah,
products. And then it's like,
exactly.
I don't think so. I don't think I
And
can work
you're
with
going to
you.
lose credibility.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but not
It's
only that, like I don't want to promote a product
no.
that might hurt someone if I'm trying to help them. There was this one supplement company that reached out to
Mm?
me and they had supplements with some allergens in them, but they were supposed to help with IBS and thyroid and everything like this. And
You're
I'm
like, how
like,
does this work?
yeah, because it's like, okay, but maybe you shouldn't use like grains and soy or certain things in these supplements if you truly want to help people.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
it's like a good thought, but you have to really look into everything if you really want to help people, and you have to know
Definitely.
what's real health. And I can imagine it is hard for people to really navigate what's true, what's not.
Yeah, I just like you're saying, I really sympathize with people. It is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think neither of us and anyone else kind of in this space, you know, we've spent a lot of time. This isn't something that you just realize overnight. It takes time and a lot of research. And
And
there's so
trial
much
and
money in
error.
marketing, in trial
And
and error, but we're just bombarded constantly. So you need to kind of
mm,
see through the noise.
exactly. And you have to go to the root. Okay,
Yeah.
but how does our bodies work? Where
Mm,
do we come from? How have we lived previously? Where do we find the most bioavailable nutrition that we can
mm,
get into our bodies, into our system, so it works properly and it doesn't inflame us and cause issues and symptoms that makes it impossible for us to be healthy and thrive.
exactly. Exactly. And I think one thing I want people to take with them is that you can make so many changes that are completely free. You know, there's so many gadgets and cool stuff, and I personally love testing stuff out. But a lot of the basics are free, you know, like get out in nature, ground yourself, get sunlight, drink water with electrolytes and with salt. You know, just by drinking 2 cups of coffee, you lose like a teaspoon of salt. You know, I don't
Yeah.
think a lot of people know that. So, and if you are dehydrated by, I think 5%, you lose like 30% of your cognitive function, or, you know,
Mm.
we'll have to look these numbers up. But there's so many small things that you can do. Eat good food that doesn't have an ingredients label.
Yeah.
And get proper sleep, you know? So I think there's so many things that you can do that doesn't have to cost a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. But also
Yeah.
just this one thing that you mentioned with dehydration, I think so many people today are dehydrated
Yeah.
severely. But also, you mentioned you have to get in salt and electrolytes. But
Mm.
when you look at the recommendation, they say have a low salt intake. And
No, and that's what I mean. And yeah, you definitely shouldn't be consuming the table salt. Like I don't own table salt, but I wouldn't have that. But I would have good salt, like some Celtic or Redmond or something like that in my bag. And as I think said in my reel, that's what I take when I get a headache.
mm,
I'm not completely free from big pharma. I would love to be, but every once in like a few times a year, I take a pill if I get a really bad headache.
mm,
But the salt can really be a game changer. So, you know, if
mm-hmm.
we can help people just get these small, that's what I want to do at least, just get inspired to make small changes. Um, and they'll become healthier, you know? As I said, tiny habits make big changes over time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think just raising awareness also, like we do, go out, talk about the science behind it and
Yeah.
really what it does to our bodies and what it really is. Because many of these, say, companies are funded by, well, industries that does not want our best or have our health in their interest at all.
No. Exactly.
And
And
so
that just because you say that, you
yeah.
are not a right-wing conspiracy theorist, which has been like a label put
Yeah.
on. Yeah, I don't know.
And everything
So,
today is so political. Like,
yes.
there was this one guy reaching out to me, and I was commenting something. I think it was about red meat or something like that, and he made it all
Mm,
political. Like, oh, you're right wing, you're this. I also believe like you, and I'm like, I haven't even talked with you about politics. How did you make this into a thing all of
I
a
know.
sudden?
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh God, that's a really fun topic as well. I saw a video. I saw a video a few
mm,
weeks ago
mm-hmm,
that came up, and it was about a woman about a
mm,
completely different topic. She was talking about vaccines, and we know vaccines.
yeah.
You just mention the word vaccines, and people are like, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but she said that she chose not to vaccinate her children in the 90s, and people considered her very, very left. And then she
Oh,
had two more kids when she was older, like just, I don't know, 10 years ago. And then people considered her very, very right. And I know this is a different topic, but I think that
yeah.
shows that politics is very much just an illusion.
Mm.
You know, they want to keep us right versus left. And I don't know, that was a sidetrack, but I thought it was just interesting
But
to
it's
see.
funny. It's funny when you break
Yeah,
it down like that. It depends on the
yeah,
times and who's saying what.
exactly.
And but the thing
Mm,
is, like, her decision obviously had nothing to do with that. She
nothing,
was sticking to it even later on in her life, and it had nothing to do
exactly.
with what she voted on. It's so silly, but people
Yeah,
somehow make these connections because it's easier for their brains to put you in a box. You believe and say this just because you're in this box or in that box. But that's not always the case.
exactly.
Some
Definitely
people
not.
actually try out themselves and do their own research.
Has
Like
nothing
we
to
do.
do with politics.
No,
So, no, politics is a different topic, but I still find it interesting how certain things have been associated with certain political parties, and people love to put a label on stuff. And I think
for
what
sure.
happened during COVID and um, everything with the vaccine there, I mean, I think that showed how polarized the world or how split the world was.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope that in the future we can have a kind of kinder like we need to have a nicer tone with one another. And I see,
Mm-hmm.
people
Agree
are
to
very
disagree.
hateful. Agree to disagree and be able to debate and discuss things
Yeah.
nicely. Because automatically, if somebody is yelling at you and calling you things, you go into kind of, a lot of people get triggered, you become defensive. And I think if we want to have proper discussions about very controversial topics, we need to be kinder. And I think I'm just
Yeah.
seeing so many kind people, but also just so much hate on social media, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You cannot have different opinions and still be friends
No,
anymore. But
exactly.
I think I can remember a time where you could do that when I was super young,
Yeah,
but and we can just sit in the kitchen and discuss different ideas, different opinions, and it was normal. The world
yeah,
didn't end, and we didn't have to go separate ways just because we didn't agree on every single thing.
exactly. No, exactly. And now this became like a political, but it's crazy how
But
much the world has changed,
everything,
and this
yeah, it's just the state
everything
of
is
the world.
connected.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think this is part of the whole, at least and I think when you were also referring to just waking up, just becoming more aware of what's going on. And the only thing we can really control is our own health, our own, like ourselves.
Hmm.
Be the best version of ourselves.
Preach.
Preach.
It's so good.
Exactly.
But also, I
Yeah.
saw on your Instagram another thing I thought was so good. You aren't what you eat. You are
Mm.
what the thing you eat eats.
Eats. Exactly.
Yeah.
And just to make it even more complicated, right?
Yeah.
You thought that you could just go buy whatever salmon or meat and that was it. But you also need to think about what they're eating.
Mm.
And I think that adds a layer of complexity to it for sure. Maybe a first step for people who are making, changes in their life is to not go that far. Just
Yeah,
start
yeah.
by removing things that have an ingredient list. And then step 2, start looking at what are the things you're eating? What are they eating? Bit by bit.
Yeah, it's better that you start eating meat, even if it's not perhaps
Grass
the
fed and
most quality meat you can
yeah,
find. Yeah, grass fed or from a farmer, you know, that doesn't feed
Yeah.
it just any crap. They even feed cows the craziest things, soy, grains, things like that. I think the first step, as you said, is to really get rid of all the things that cause inflammation and
Yeah.
start to incorporate more foods that are very nutrient dense, like meat, for example. And especially when it comes from ruminant animals, since they have
Yeah.
four stomachs, even if they would eat grains and things like that, it would not be maybe as bad as if you feed a chicken something, let's say.
Have you seen the size of a chicken in the 50s versus today?
Oof.
I mean, it's crazy. It's really disgusting. But yeah, side note.
Yeah, talk about it.
No, I can do a post on this as well, but one of the reasons I only buy organic chicken now is because these days they slaughter the chicken. I don't know how many days, but they do not live long, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I buy an organic chicken that grows for 81 days. And I think they really feed them stuff so that they slaughter them within 2 to 3 weeks. And it's impacted the size of the chickens. I mean, they're giving them so much crap.
Yeah,
And I think, and I think this is just a good example. What did the chicken look like in the 50s or in the 1900s? What did the animal look like? And what does it look like today? Like farmed salmon or whatever you want. It didn't exist, right? So did it exist back in the day? Did seed oils exist back in the day? No, they didn't.
Exactly.
I think that's also a good kind of thought.
Yeah. And it's like we have gone so far from nature. There are very few people today that are farmers and really know how animals work, what the soil needs, how everything functions in reality. I know like kids that doesn't know that meatballs are cow or, you know.
What do they think it is?
No, they think it's from the store. And then you explain to them like, no, it's this was once a cow. And they're like, oh, but now I don't want to eat it. But like,
yeah, no, exactly. Which is also a reason to later on try to eat meat that, or eat a cow or whatever you want that has had a good life compared to if you buy farm or factory meat or whatever you want to call it.
Exactly. Yeah. Where I've seen a video where they hold a chicken and they like shove something down its throat and like push a button and just fill the stomach up and then next. And they do this. Yeah, it's so horrible.
No, I know. If you want to start, and talking about the animal. I mean,
cruelty.
Animal cruelty, exactly. No, it's there's so many different angles to it, for sure. It's a crazy world, to say the least.
Yeah, because the industrialism, I think it's called, since the 1900s, it has really made everything so cold and robotic. We have no connection to anything anymore. Everything is just like a factory.
Yeah. And I think the whole system, the system that put women into 9-to-5 jobs, which is amazing in so many ways if you want that. But I don't know if you've noticed, more and more people, or women, I think, are choosing to stay at home with their children rather than sending them to daycare and so on. And kind of that some people look down upon this. Yeah. And now this is a different topic as well, but just how much has changed in the last 100 years. And we're losing the human connection. We're sending our children to strangers. To strangers. I spoke to a mom a couple weeks ago, and she said that a lot of parents are now missing their children's first steps, because they're going back to work. So I think we have a system that is in many ways broken.
Yeah.
And once again,
doesn't it all also start there with the kids? Like they're fucked from the beginning because they get sent away to some stranger. Away from their moms and dads, which...
How did we end up here? I don't know.
I don't know either, but...
No, there's a lot of things. We'll do a part 2.
Okay, so we're back. We took a little break, but I mean, we could talk for hours.
Yeah, I feel like we could. For sure.
I think we have to make a part 2. But you would agree that chronic conditions can be improved naturally?
Yes. I think they can be not only improved, but reversed in many cases. Yes.
Yeah. Like for you and me.
For us.
Yeah.
And for
that's-
more and more people. I really hope that's what the trend we're going to see moving forward.
Yeah, so if you would just say some easy everyday habits that anyone could do just starting today.
Yeah, I think I touched upon a few of them earlier, but make sure to, if we go like morning to night, make
Mm.
sure to get at least 15 minutes of sunlight before 10 a.m.
Yeah.
so that you get your circadian rhythm going in the morning. And then make sure to exercise and get movement, especially muscle, like lift heavy weights. I think a lot of women especially are scared of getting bulky, but I don't know, you're going to have to lift a lot of weights to get bulky. So, no, but really the studies now are showing, I mean, we lose muscle year by year, and it's really such a good marker for just your like survivability. I think if you want to check out muscle, you should go follow Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. She does amazing work when it comes to muscle. So yeah, get movement, really lift heavy weights. Don't just do HIIT. Hydrate properly. Be out in nature as much as possible. We are not meant to be inside. Other small hacks that I think are useful. I have my window open here, but open your windows. I know you're in Dubai. It might be difficult. It must be really hot at certain times of the year.
Yes.
But
And I look super pale because the windows have like a blue filter. So it doesn't get too hot inside. So I'm actually more tan than I look.
I think you look great. Your skin looks great. No, and okay, unless you're in Dubai, no, but try and open your windows. I mean, studies show that the air inside, even in cities, is worse than the air outside.
Yeah.
So open your windows. You have good plants at home. If possible, get an air filter. But, you know, you can just get plants. You know, there's so many good things. And then make sure to nourish yourself with real food. And as we've spoken a lot about, try and buy food that doesn't have an ingredients list. And then, I mean, I think the list could probably go on, but something that's also free, I mean, community and relationships. And I think I'm really happy to just be talking to you today. I think that's one of the reasons I just started my channel, is to be able to reach people who view the world at least a little bit like I do. And get out and meet friends. Don't be friends with people you don't like. I think, you know, nurture the relationships that you really care about. And finally, try and have a higher purpose. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
I think
such good tips. Oh my God.
exactly. I'm like, I'm sure the list could go on. But yeah, the community thing is really important. And
Exactly.
it's easy to lose track of that, especially when we're just on our phones all the time. But yeah, really nurture, your friends. And I think social media, like people say, don't talk to strangers online. I heard someone say that just recently on my Instagram.
Really?
But it's like, you know, no, but we've been taught, you know, don't talk to strangers online. But I think you can make so many friends online, especially if you start posting stuff on Instagram. So yeah, dare to reach out like you did for this chat, but also just to, you know, make new friends. And that's really cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I look
That's
forward to meeting
awesome.
you when you do come to Sweden.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
yes. Where is it? Where are you from in Sweden, by the way?
So Gävle, a little bit above.
Yeah, a bit, not that far from Stockholm.
Yeah, it's very close.
Yes.
Neighbors.
Exactly.
No, but obviously you have a friend in me. Like,
yes.
I think we view a lot of things similar. So we have our little community that we're building.
Definitely.
And I think everyone is an influencer. Whatever you do out in the world, you will influence other people. Yeah. And I think one purpose that you can have is to be a good influencer. So someone who influences people in the best way possible. There are so many companies who create problems to sell the solution. But
that's a good one.
Yeah, but I want to not sell the solution, but be the solution for a problem that already exists.
Exactly.
And happened to me. And like now you can do the same to other people, like help them with their issues.
And I think the work you're doing is really amazing. And just getting the message out that something can be done.
Exactly. Raise awareness, as you said previously.
Yeah, no, but it's really important because you can really, really impact people's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's everyone do that.
Exactly.
And spread light and spread
Exactly.
life out in the world. But it has been so nice having you on.
Thank
Where
you.
can people go follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me on my account. So that's Amanda Tallin, Thalin on Instagram. And maybe I'll start TikTok soon. We'll see. I'm posting in Swedish for now. So yeah, maybe I have some Swedish followers. We'll see.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
some Swedes that watching, go follow.
Yes, exactly.
I will link it down below. Yeah.
Yes. And I can't wait to talk to you again.
Yeah, exactly. There's coming up part 2, so don't worry, guys.
Thank you so much, Elin.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
You
Bye.
too.